Welcome back to another episode where we are talking all about sales and discovery calls, especially if you are a life coach, some type of coach, or are offering a service. Remember, before we even get into this, 92% of service-based businesses do their sales on the phone. So you've got to kill it on the phone. You've got to fall in love with sales calls or discovery calls or whatever you want to call them. And today we're going to talk a little bit less about the how-tos of discovery calls and a little bit more about the being. Who do you need to be? How do you need to show up to move through a sales call powerfully and ultimately get the sale? So if we haven't met yet, and this is your first time here, my name is Liv Chapman. I am the co-founder and CEO of IGC Coaching School, and we have trained and certified thousands of coaches. We have helped thousands of women make millions of dollars. And ultimately, we believe that the world is going to be a better place when we get more money in the hands of women who know what to do with it. Now, a lot of women come into business, especially coaching, because they really want to help people. They often left other helping professions to keep helping people as a coach. I myself was a public school teacher for years. We have worked with dozens, if not hundreds, of social workers, therapists, nurses, personal trainers, all of these helping professions that now come to coaching to kind of bring all their passions together in one place and ultimately remove the income ceiling, right? Be able to make more money, have more freedom. And the way that they do that is they get really, really great at what they do. And then they go out and sell it. And that's where often I find that women who love to help have a little bit of a gap. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the mindset, the not so good mindset that some people are bringing into their discovery calls that ultimately are stopping the sale. And when we don't sell, we don't get to do the work that we want to do. Therefore, we're not living out our purpose. And something about that just doesn't sit right with me. And I hope it doesn't sit right with you either. So you have to fall in love with sales. You have to think of it as the pathway for you to be able to live out your purpose. Okay. And if any of these limiting beliefs that I'm going to go through today are stopping you from doing that, your responsibility, your commitment is going to be in cleaning them up. Okay. In rewriting how you talk to yourself or where your mind goes so that you can ultimately close more deals, get more clients, make more money, feel happier. I am never going to be ashamed to admit that money stress or lack of money stress is one of the hardest things to deal with. It can ruin your mood, it can ruin your day, and ultimately it can ruin your life. So let's get into it. I'm going to cover the top three limiting beliefs that are truly stopping the sale. I don't even, I think the vibe of having these beliefs alone might even be repelling people from booking a call with you. Number one is this automatic belief that nobody can afford it. If you have this running loop going on in your brain that says, like, it's too expensive, nobody can afford it. First of all, not everyone is broke. There are a lot of people in this world that have a lot of money. And if that is not your current experience, if you are not seeing the physical evidence of that in your life right now, and we've all been there, well, at least I have, it's very hard to see or believe that other people's realities may look different than your own. But I promise you, this is one of those things where you have to believe it sometimes before you see it. I think Wayne Dyer said that. We often think it's, I got to see it to believe it. But when it comes to this, you got to believe it and then you're going to see it. Okay. But we cannot go in with this loop running through our brain that people can't afford it. It's too expensive. One thing here is like, you got to ask yourself, have you made an investment at this level before? Because I also genuinely believe that we attract the buyers that we are. So if you would never pay you for the service, it's going to be very hard for you to break up with that limiting belief of it's too expensive. Because the reality is, price only matters in the absence of value. So if you are not sold on your value, if you are not sold on what you are selling, they're not going to be either. One of the things that I also want you to consider around that value piece is that often when it comes to a service, you have to think beyond the immediate thing that they're hiring you for. So if someone is hiring you for confidence coaching, you need to reflect to them the value of them being more confident. What is going to change in their life when they become more confident? So some of these things are around actually seeing the value of what you do, because if you really leaned into that, this whole I can't afford it, the price thing is not going to even cross your mind. So before you get on your next discovery call, or maybe today or every day, I want you to be writing down why working with you is so valuable. And not just they're going to become more confident, they're going to find a new job, they're going to fall in love, they're going to grow a business, they're going to lose 20 pounds. What does that result, or how does that result create value in their life? And think about it almost like the domino effect. I want you to be so obsessed with the value of the service that you offer that the price doesn't even matter, because at the end of the day, folks, the price is made up. The price is made up. It's all made up. It's literally all made up. Isn't that wild? It's like wild to me. Okay. But we have to break up with this limiting belief that people can't afford it. Whatever evidence you need to find in the world about the immense amounts of wealth that there are around you, you create an abundance list, whether it's finding a penny on the ground or getting a $2,000 check in the mail randomly. Like, can we all manifest that? Okay. You have to practice seeing the abundance, seeing the value, not only in what you do, but in the world around you. Okay. This whole thing about people can't afford it is just absurd. And it's also rude. It's also actually rude to just assume people are broke. We have no idea what people have access to. We have no idea who they may know that want to support them. We have no idea what their bank account looks like. We have no idea how much money they make at their job, or how much money they've inherited, or how much money they have and sitting on an idea in their brain. And it is actually offensive for you to assume that someone can't afford to work with you. That's a good reframe for you. Okay. So, number one, you're breaking up with this whole the economy's bad, nobody can afford it. Maybe people actually need you because the economy is bad. Okay. Try on whatever you need to try on, but do not keep wearing this they can't afford it outfit. Okay. We're saying goodbye to that. That limiting belief is useless. The next one, the second limiting belief that we are breaking up with, is this whole like, maybe it's not really worth it. Like, maybe I'm not really good enough. Maybe, like, what if I can't really help them? What if my service sucks? First of all, if you actually think your service sucks, you probably haven't even booked any discovery calls, because that's going to translate energetically in your marketing and your messaging and all of that. But it also can sometimes be this like sneaky little thought that takes over our mind when someone has a buying question on a discovery call, or what we might even call an objection. And then we hear one thing that causes us to question ourselves. And we're like, maybe this is crap. Maybe I suck. Maybe I can't help anyone. Maybe. First of all, if you think you suck, like I said, you probably aren't booking discovery calls anyway. Secondly, you got to kind of be honest with yourself. Like, are you actually good at it? Like, I don't know if anyone has asked you that before, but I do know there's a whole lot of people slapping life coach on their Instagram bio, and they haven't done a lick of training. They haven't worked with an individual. They don't know how to run a session. And yeah, maybe you should question if you're actually good at this. Maybe you should take a couple pro bono clients and actually practice. Maybe you should go to training. But if you have been through training, you have had pro bono clients, you have proof of concept, meaning that you have sold your service, whether it was for $1 or $10,000, or it was even in a job that you might have had. Maybe you were doing some type of coaching or consulting or whatever service you're selling. Maybe it was paid for by an employer, like it was your role in the company. But did you get great results? Did your manager or did your boss or did your colleagues have great feedback for you? You have to have some proof of concept to be able to erase that limiting belief. We are all worthy. We're all inherently worthy of our desires, okay? I am not questioning your worthiness as a human. But, sorry, there's a but. If you are questioning your worthiness to receive money for your service, then you either need to say, okay, that belief is total crap and I'm removing it because I have gotten great feedback. I am trained. I am certified. I am wonderful at what I do. Here's all the testimonials I have. Here's all the people that said I'm great. Here's all of my experience. You can totally take that and throw out the questioning of yourself and the value. But if there is part of you that truly doesn't know, you have zero evidence that you're good at what you do, then you need to go take some pro bono clients or take some coach training or whatever service you're offering and make sure you're really good at it. And you could get this done in a matter of 2 days, right? There are people who will take you on. You can get pro bono clients. You can market yourself. I mean, anybody will do anything for free at this point, right? But go and get that feedback so you can actually rid yourself of that limiting belief. So that's kind of on you. That's a little bit of a twofold way to get rid of that belief. If you genuinely know you're great at what you do, then you are really, that limiting belief is just holding you back from doing your work. And it's holding back your client. Like your clients, there, if we energetically believe that for every human we want to be hired by, that is the exact number of humans who need us, which is a great belief to have, then you are actually blocking their blessings by having that belief. So not only are you doing a disservice to yourself, but you're doing a disservice to your future clients. So that's number two. If you have this like sneaky little thought that maybe it's not worth it, maybe I'm not good enough, and it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means you have to remove that belief enough to know that you have what it takes to help that person with whatever it is they need help with, right? And it's also on them to do stuff too. I think we have to, like, obviously it's like a gym membership only works if the person shows up to the gym and uses the equipment, right? So you know what you're responsible for. And the last one, this is like, anybody else Catholic, raised Catholic? This one might hit home with any of my Catholic service providers and coaches, okay? The feeling of guilt, this is the third limiting belief, the feeling of guilt when you're asking someone to pay you. That guilt thing is, first of all, it's like one of the lowest level feelings. So overall, guilt is not a good emotion or a good feeling state to be in, but we really need to break up with this like dirty, guilty, negative feeling that we may have when we ask someone to pay us. I mean, think about it this way. This may show up if you have ever been the girl or the person who's out to dinner with friends and you're like, oh, I'll get it, just Venmo me. And then one of the people never Venmos you. And you're like, oh my God, but I like feel really bad asking them. And you don't send the request and you kind of blow it over. And then you tell the other friends, like, she never paid me. Okay. This is a growth edge, okay? This is a big opportunity for you to finally let go of this weird guilt feeling that you have when you're asking for money, okay? We are not in the Catholic Church right now, okay? And I love my Catholics. I went to Catholic school my whole life, but we just have this thing with guilt. We like love it. We attach to it. It's in our veins or something, okay? But when it comes to running a business, the differentiator between a hobby and a business is the ability to get paid, okay? I think even the IRS, like you have a couple years to like actually make money with your business before they just consider it a hobby. All right. So if nothing else, you want the IRS to still recognize you as a business, right? But my point is, if there is part of you that feels guilty, like, oh, I should just help this person for free, or maybe I shouldn't charge so much, or I feel bad saying the price, that limiting belief is going to put you in the position, just like out to dinner, where you avoid the conversation and therefore you avoid the sale or you avoid getting paid back. And you're going to be that person at the end of a discovery call who's like, so that's like what it would be like to work with me. And I will like send you the pricing details or my packages in an email after. That does not work. that does not work. Sending the information after without ever presenting the price on the call, that to me is shady. That's just awkward, right? Because you're again blocking them. You're blocking them from being able to work with you by not just being straightforward and telling them how and inviting them to do that. There is nothing to feel guilty about, okay? Your job as a business person is to get paid for the service that you provide. So this feeling of icky or weird or guilty or wrong for asking for money for a service that you are going to provide is a limiting belief that we must eradicate before we get on our next sales call. And the best way that I can tell you to get rid of this is to practice being direct and forthright with money in all situations. I don't care if somebody owes you money from 3 years ago, maybe they're never going to pay you back. Text them now and ask them, I dare you to. And then I want you to practice asking for money in the mirror, on a Zoom call with a friend, act it out. Don't practice on the prospect. You know how I feel about that. But you need to be able to say your prices, yell it from a rooftop, put it on a megaphone. I think of that girl who's like looking for a sugar daddy with a yacht with her megaphone. You know what I'm talking? That's you, but being like, here's what it costs to work with me. Okay. And then if you find the sugar daddy on the yacht, maybe you don't have to do your business. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? Like you want to have that level of confidence when it comes to stating the price. And you don't want to feel guilty about it. And I can also promise you, like, just detach a little bit from the numbers. Like I said at the beginning, the price is made up. Like it's made up. And people, it's not about the number. And I know that's hard to believe when the numbers on your bank screen or your phone screen aren't what you want them to be. And like, are they ever? But it's going to help you to rethink like your focus is on the value. And these numerical values are just these things that you made up that make you energetically feel aligned to the service that you're offering and the effort that you're putting in. Does that make sense? I actually have no clue if that makes sense. But all I can tell you is that this guilt and feeling of wrongness or like dirtiness is not going to help you with your business. Okay. So these are the 3 limiting beliefs that you are saying ta-ta to today. And before you get on your next discovery call or sales call, make sure that you are in the highest and best mindset because that is going to be that energetic key that unlocks your next level on your sales calls. Now, if you liked this and you found it helpful, please leave a comment below, like this video, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking about money and sales all month. And of course, share this with a friend who might need it, or share it with your friend who owes you money, whatever it takes. All right, I'll see you next time. Thank you.